This video is to help you find the volume of right square pyramids. This right here is an example of a right square pyramid, which simply means that the base of the pyramid is a square, and then all sides, all the triangles will be equal. So most common places that you would see these type of pyramids are like the ones that you would see in Egypt, the ones that have this square base. So that means that both bases are going to be the same length. So the way we're going to find out how to find the volume of a pyramid is to compare it to a rectangular prism volume, which we already know how to find. So let's start by finding the volume of this one. If we know that the length and the width of this rectangular prism are both 6, and then the height is 10, we would just do 6 times 6 times 10, length times width times height. I'll write that up here so you guys remember, length times width times height. So 6 times 6 times 10 is 360 centimeters cubed. Remember, we always want cubed centimeters, or whatever the units are for volume. It's always going to be cubed. And then we're told that this volume, with a base of 6, so this would be 6 and this one would be 6, that the volume is 120. So now we want to compare these. How many times bigger is this volume, 360, than 120? So this is like our changing dimensions unit. How do we compare them? Well, we want to divide. So we do 360 divided by 120, and we get 3. So that means that the rectangular figure, the volume is 3 times bigger than this volume. So we have 360 divided by 120 is 3. So the question, or the part up here, says we want to compare the pyramid to the rectangular prism. So for every one pyramid, there's a rectangular prism that's 3 times bigger. So the ratio is 1 to 3. So let's look at another one. For this next one, let's say that we have the length and width of 9 centimeters. So this would be 9 and this would be 9. And then this height is 15. So we want to do 9 times 9 times 15 in the calculator, length times width times height. So then we get our answer is 1,215 centimeters cubed. 1,215 centimeters cubed. So let's compare it to 405. So again, if we write this and compare it by dividing, 1,215 divided by 405, we're going to get 3 again. So again, even when we've changed our dimensions, we'll see that this ratio is going to be 1 to 3. Now, if you already are starting to see the pattern, you can go ahead and pause the video and finish these last two. If you need to see a few more examples, you can keep going. So now let's change our dimensions to 18 with a height of 7. So now these are going to be 18, and then this one's 7. So 18 times 7 is 2,268 centimeters cubed. 2,268 centimeters cubed. So comparing that to the base, or to the volume of the square pyramid with the same dimensions, we're going to see that 2,268 divided by 756 again is 3. So the ratio, regardless of what our dimensions are, as long as they're the same within the two figures, using that 18 and 7, 9 and 15, 6 and 10, that the ratio is always going to be the same. So we'll do one more. 15 times 15 times 20 is 4,500 centimeters cubed, and 4,500 divided by 1,500 is also 3. So we have a ratio again of 1 to 3. So a conclusion that we can make from this is that if for every one pyramid there's 3 rectangular prisms, we want to talk about it in relation to just the square pyramids. So what we can find out is that square pyramids volume square pyramid's volume is a third of the size of the rectangular prism volume. So the square pyramid's volume is a third of the size of the rectangular prism volume. So what we want to do is use this conclusion to write a formula for the right square pyramid. So let's start by writing what we know about the square pyramid. So we know we need to find the area of the base. So we have the base squared. So instead of length times width, we're going to use base squared this time. And then we know that we then need times height. So instead of length times width times height, like the rectangular pyramid, we're going to use base squared because the two lengths are the same. Well, and then the last part is because it's a third of the size of the other one, of the rectangular prism, we're going to divide by 3. So we have base squared, base times height, divided by 3. Another way to write it is base times height divided by 3. So very similar to the rectangular prism, we just are dividing by 3. And that's the formula.